So let's talk about one of the most controversial things that I'm about to say regarding bariatric surgery. I would like to talk about some of the similarities that long-term post-bariatric surgery patients often find they have in common with people who have self-imposed disordered eating styles. I'm being very careful here so that I don't raise any warning signs for the app. Now, I am going to preface this for those of you who may decide they want to jump in the comments and tell me how wrong I am by saying that many of these long-term results are often blamed on the bariatric surgery patients. It is a personal failure of ours, according to our doctors, that we are having these kinds of problems. And we're going to go ahead and start with dumping syndrome, also known as rapid gastric emptying. See if you can figure out why that would be happening. Early signs include abdominal cramps, diarrhea minutes after eating, nausea, vomiting, flushing, dizziness, rapid heart rate, sweating, hunger, low blood sugar, fatigue, dizziness, weakness, and again, rapid heart rate for the late symptoms. Now, when I was going through surgery prep, this was always blamed on the patient, eating sugar. They said you wouldn't get dumping syndrome if you didn't eat too much sugar. Turns out that's bullshit. I do get it when I have too much sugar. I do. I also get it when I have too much fruit. I get it when I have wheat, which, since that causes other problems, I haven't had wheat in quite some time. I get it when I take my vitamins. Depends on the vitamins. If I try to take the gummies, or if I try to take the chewables, or the solid bariatric pills, all of those cause dumping syndrome for me. And that one's funny because you can see the pill come out exactly, almost looking exactly as it went in, except with gross stuff around. They also said that dumping syndrome was less likely after gastric sleeve, but according to this website I just found, it's more likely after gastric sleeve or after duodenal switch than it is after gastric bypass. So yeah. And then you have your vitamin deficiencies, severe vitamin deficiencies, some of which are present in up to 65% of bariatric patients. But somehow it's still us because we didn't take our vitamins. And those vitamin deficiencies can cause anemia, loss of bone density, neurological complications such as memory loss or irritability, bone and kidney disease, heart and lung muscle loss, loss of hair, loss of skin elasticity. And if you go long enough, it can cause metabolic disturbances that can lead to cardiac arrest or circulatory collapse. But if you're more than 5 or 6 years out after gastric surgery, all of those things are going to be blamed on you not getting enough vitamins. And it's infuriating. I mean, I'm sort of smiling right now, but that's because oh, and I forgot the last little smaller thing. But if I eat too much food now and I'm super uncomfortable, I think I mentioned this in previous videos, but this relates specifically to this content, because if I eat too much food now and I'm getting super uncomfortable, all I have to do is burp. And when I burp, out it comes. And if I burp again, I can get all the contents of my stomach to come out. That's super not related to any other disordered eating styles, is it? Just to be clear here, I have worked very hard to find a bariatric vitamin supplement that I can actually ingest most of without getting dumping syndrome. It took me a while, good long while, but I found one. I also am very careful to make sure I get my full protein, because that's what lack of protein is what causes most of the muscle and organ dysfunction issues. And I very rarely overeat anymore these days. The last time I did it was at Christmas when my brother made the most delicious lamb roast, and I was socializing with my brother that I haven't really seen in person in a long while, and I was enjoying this lamb roast he had made, and I wasn't paying attention to my body's signals, and I ate too much. I generally don't, because it's so uncomfortable, and I don't like the way to get rid of the discomfort. But like I said, my favorite part of all of that is that most of those long-term results are blamed on the patient. Even in the articles where I was looking up what they could be, they're all saying, and this is why it's vital that you get your vitamins. And this is why doctors, surgeons stress that you get enough vitamins. But they're not, like, nobody is talking about how hard that is after gastric surgery. As a fat person before gastric surgery, there's a tendency for everybody to blame you for your weight anyway. There's a tendency to blame before gastric surgery. As a fat person, there's always been a tendency to blame you for anything that goes wrong with your body, to blame you for your weight, because you obviously pig out like a piggly wiggly. But after gastric sleeve surgery, they are blaming patients who are literally dying of heart and lung and muscle failure because of these deficiencies, and saying it's our fault because we didn't get enough vitamins. And even other bariatric surgery people will add on to that. They'll be like, why didn't you get enough vitamins? Why didn't you try harder? It's as simple as this stupid thing that isn't actually working. Those are generally people who are less than 5 years out, by the way, who are saying, oh, it's so simple, because they haven't had the vitamin deficiencies add up yet.